speaking, and thank you for joining us today. I grew up in a no-labels house, in a no-labels town, in a no-labels state. And when I was growing up in Brooklyn, Iowa, people had a problem. They didn't ask you if you were a Republican or a Democrat. They asked for your help, and they got it. And that's why we're all here today. But this day is really about Gabby. I think this whole No Labels conference should be dedicated to my friend Gabby Giffords and what she stands for as a member of Congress. Because it took a tragedy in Arizona to convince members of Congress a year ago at the State of the Union to break the tradition, seek out friends on the other side of the aisle, and change the way we sit and think about each other at the State of the Union. And it was my friend Gabby who walked into the floor of the House the day we were voting on the debt ceiling. And if you had been there and seen the magic of that moment and how partisanship melted away and it was replaced by friendship, I think that's the real purpose of No Labels. But I want to just leave you with an example that just happened this year in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm honored to serve as the ranking member of the top Democrat on the House Veterans Affairs Economic Opportunity Subcommittee. And I was in Fort Wayne with Marlon Stutzman, who's a Republican from Indiana, who chairs that committee. And at the end of the field hearing, Marlon turned to me and said, "Would you like to say anything?" And I said, "Yes, and it's going to shock some of you in this room." Marlon Stutzman and I are good friends. And when I was given the privilege of serving on this subcommittee, the first thing I did was invite him to lunch and tell him, what can I do to help you be successful as chairman of this committee? Because when it comes to taking care of our veterans, there should be no partisanship in this Congress. And the crowd of strangers in Fort Wayne who had never met me before responded exactly the way you did just now. And that's a valuable lesson to all of us up here, all of us serving in Congress, is people in this country are desperate for leadership. And they don't care about labels, they care about results, and that's why we're here. So thank you. Jerry, I'm the poster child of what happens to federal candidates after the disastrous decision of Citizens United, which I think is the greatest threat to democracy we face in this country. I say that because I had $2.5 million of outside money by secret donors dumped into my race when I was on nobody's endangered species list. I went from winning by 30 points in 2008 to barely surviving with less than 50% of the vote and winning by 2 points in 2010, all because of secret outside money. As bad as it was in 2010, it's much worse in 2012. I was at a meeting recently and heard that one of the super PACs just got a $25 million donation from a single donor. If you don't think that is a threat to democracy and to how candidates have to raise money to compete with that, I think you are in for a rude awakening in 2012. I think this is a great rallying point, by the way, for No Labels, because we passed the Disclose Act in the House of Representatives in response to that decision. It came within one vote of breaking a filibuster in the Senate to bring it to the floor there, to at least require transparency. Because what's the big selling point for these donors right now is their anonymity. They can give as much money as they want to any super PAC and never worry that the voting public who may be buying products or services from them will find out who they're supporting.